Hello, welcome to He's Hot, but something is off. And Happy New Year, Happy 2015. It is the first podcast episode of the year. It is January the 2nd. If you're listening to this on January the 2nd, I hope you don't have too much of a hangover, but I do hope you had a fun New Year's Eve. It is not technically New Year's as I record this, because I will be... Actually, you know what? By the time it's January 2nd, I should have been home by now, or I might possibly be still on a plane somewhere. So, yeah, next week, it'll be the first episode next week on January the 9th when the next episode of the podcast comes out. That will be the first podcast episode I will record in the new year for He's Hot but Something's Off. But today, even though as I sit here, it's still December, I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I don't usually do them. The last couple of years for me, 2023 and 24, has been so weird, and it's been such a departure from all the previous years of my adult life, and also not something I could have really imagined would happen to me, maybe slightly in a neutral / positive-ish way. It's kind of it's the glass half empty or half full type of a thing. That going into 2025, not necessarily I'm going to make resolutions for the new year in the traditional sense, but I do have some aspirations, and I'm hoping and putting some effort into making 2025 possibly a transformational year. I don't know if I felt the same way going into 2024 necessarily. I think going to 2024, I was kind of sort of hoping it was a little bit of like a survival. That sounds extreme, but it was a little bit like, okay, it's been a year that I haven't really figured out what I'm doing career-wise and a little bit life-wise. Going into 2024, like everything will be hopefully cool again. And over the course of 2024, I don't have all the answers yet. No one does. I'm kind of at a little bit of a crossroads, and I have been for like a little bit of 2024. And going into 2025, what I feel like I need to do is commit. You know, when you come to a fork in the road, you know, sometimes you can't have your cake and eat it too. Or, you know, if you try to do that, things just end up blowing up in your face because, you know, the universe is not fair and life is not fair. And sometimes we just have to pick one or the other. And if we try to have the cake and also eat it at the same time, you know, bad things can happen. So for me, part of one of my aspirations for going into the new year is to just pick a fork in the road. And the fork for me is kind of still with the career. It's the chance of me getting back into like the IT 9 to 5. The hopes of that gets dimmer by the day, and it has for the last 12 to 18 months. And I started doing the skincare thing at the beginning of like end of 2023, but like really kind of kicked it in through all of 2024, and it's like technically up and running, but you're never done running a business, honestly, unless you were going to close it down. So that's like another thing I kind of have to, it's kind of part of the fork in the road. And I've got this brand new business idea to be a travel agent for gay cruises, which is something I feel like I would enjoy so much, and I would have so much fun doing it. I have so much passion for it. I talk about cruises all the time. I have a YouTube channel on it that I think it would be such a fun and enjoyable way to make money. Not just to make money, but like I would just enjoy it, even if I wasn't making that much money out of it. But we do need money. Everything revolves around money somehow. So part of this fork in the road is either I make the peace with, you know what? The IT thing is just not in your future. Like it's not in the near term. Like we should just stop trying to put half a foot in that boat and just wholeheartedly go after other things. I've been so torn between committing to that for a few different reasons. And I feel like to kick off 2025, I just need to like, okay, either you just really want to get back into IT and just have that day job and just do that. Just do the 9 to 5, do the IT thing, properly try to get back into that and pick that fork in the road. Or don't do it at all. Throughout 2024, I felt like I could kind of sort of do both. Like, what's stopping someone from having a regular 9 to 5 day job and also doing something else on the side? Technically, there's nothing stopping me from doing that. But I feel like I just need to like make up my mind in some way, shape, or form. Because I'm so wishy-washy on everything I'm doing. Like I'm wishy-washy on the skincare business. And like if you're gonna start a business, if you can't commit to it, it's never gonna succeed. It's like starting a business is difficult enough. Is that if you're not like at least mentally committed to it, it really isn't going to work. I mean, you can kind of sort of half-heartedly try to find a job. But for me, it's like I've had so little success finding another IT 9 to 5 that I feel like if that's really the direction I need to go in, like something has to give. I've got potentially too many things on my plate. Like if I want the skincare thing to be successful, I need to put 100% into it. Doesn't mean there's no time left in the day to do like one other thing, but like, can I do the skincare thing and I have the full-time job? It's something I think a lot about. So these are kind of sort of, it's the fork in the road. That's what I always keeps coming back to. And like, you want to do this, travel agent thing. It's like, should you have another business money-making idea when it's like, you don't have the other ones really like, when you're kind of sort of not giving the other ideas the attention that they necessarily deserve? So part of the, I guess, resolution, if you will, is to like, I can't be wishy-washy doing many different things because they're all going to blow in my face. Like, if I want to get back into IT, I need to just get back into IT and just do it. Nothing is that surmountable. It's like if you want to have a day job, you can have a day job, okay? But not like half-heartedly looking for one. If I want to make the skincare business successful, I need to take it seriously. Doesn't mean I need to spend every waking hour working on it. Hey, when was the last time you really took care of your skin? The skin is the largest organ in the whole human body and is doing so much for you. It protects you from germs and cooties. It keeps you warm when you're cold. It keeps you cool when you're hot. It's making vitamin D. It gives you the gift of touch and sensation. And that's just scratching the surface, so you better take care of it. I started my own skincare company, Serve Labs, to serve fun and functional skincare for everyone so that you can serve fun while serving face. Go to servelabs.co, servelabs.co, or follow us at Serve Labs on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter and discover how easy and fun it is to treat your skin right with Serve Labs. But one of the things I realized for the skincare business is I should hire help for that. It's something I want to do. Doesn't mean I necessarily should do it, but like if I'm going to do it and make it successful, I feel like I actually need to invest in help. I need help, not just therapy help. Maybe that I may need some of that too, but I feel like I need people that, for example, can get and work with some influencers, can do the social marketing, can just do the marketing for it in general. And it's an investment. And part of me is still, I think, trying to wrap my head around, you need to actually spend some money here because I really don't have the skill set. It's going to be so much on paper more efficient to just spend money and get a consultant, for example, and have them handle the parts of it that it's not that I don't want to learn it. It's just that it's going to be it's going to be a much better use of my time and money and energy to hire someone for probably not even a whole ton of money to just get that expertise and have them hit the ground running and get that part of it, and so that we can start generating real revenue from the skincare business, than me trying to learn it. And I still feel like I should have some knowledge of all the different aspects of running a business, but I also now am wrapping my head around you can't just run the whole thing yourself, and there are things that I don't know, that I don't have the skill set and the experience and the knowledge in these specific kind of specialized domains that is necessary for the business to be successful. I haven't fully wrapped my head around that, but I'm like starting to. It's not like a light switch, but it's like the coils are winding around that specific concept that I should hire some help for the skincare business. But as I start to wrap my head around that more and more, I can start to feel the weight of it lifting off my shoulders. And that's a very pleasant thing. It's not like this sudden relief, but it's like slowly I feel like, okay, this is like a very doable thing. I just need to get organized about finding people that can help me with this. And so that's kind of one of the, I guess that's a resolution in a way, is get some professional help for the skincare business. And I've got all these business ideas, I know, but for the skincare business, for whatever reason, I've always kind of in the back of my head when I was starting it, before it even really got going, I've always wanted to have employees for that business. I think in the near term, having actual employees is not feasible, but like have like a consultant or two to work on it part-time, where they're not directly employed by me. They're not like actual employees of the corporation, but to get some consulting help, some like an outside firm or like an independent contractor or something. I think this is where like I need to go. So part of the resolution is do that. Get some help for the skincare business. And I don't want to completely farm it off, but I think part of this is getting professional expertise and help in areas where it's really necessary and where I don't have that skill set. Allows me to focus on the parts of the business I enjoy, but also are the parts that I'm good at. Like with the branding part, with, like the product development, with the market positioning, with like the target demographic. So there are parts of the business I really enjoy, but, I think as the owner of the company, it's up to me to make the decisions to make the company successful. And I have to start acting more like an owner, and a little less like, oh, this is like a side project where I have to do everything by myself. It's like, you're going to run it like a proper business. Most businesses have multiple people doing different things because everyone can play to their strengths. So that's one of the resolutions, is get some professional help. And yeah, the other thing is with the IT thing, like, should I get back into IT and have that day job? Honestly, it's something I thought a lot about. And with technology, I feel like the longer, it's a fear. I'm just going to call it a fear, but that's what it is. I fear the longer I'm away from being active in the IT/tech industry, because IT and tech move so quickly, the more outdated my skills and experience will be, and therefore the harder it is. It's kind of like it's like a vicious cycle. Like, the longer you're out of the industry, the more outdated your skills and experience is, which makes it even harder to get back in the industry. And then it's a loop. It's a feedback loop. That's where I bring up the have your cake and eat it too analogy, because it's like, I feel like if I don't get back into it very soon, I'm never going to be able to get back into it again because of that loop. So, and it's scary because I didn't intend to leave. I didn't intend to have that career change, really. I did not. So I just wanted to like take a break from the 9 to 5, and I want to get back into it, but it just didn't happen that way. The economy was very, very hot. The job market was very hot when I left, and I knew that it was hot, but I didn't know it would cool as quickly as it would have in the tech/IT sector. We've all heard about all the different tech layoffs in that industry, and I was working for startups, and the funding for startups really started drying up around the same time, and I was accustomed to from the early 2010s up until like COVID, the pandemic, where venture capital was very easy to come by, and it was like the decade of the startups, where every startup with a half plausible idea had venture capital money just like thrown in their faces, whether they wanted it or not. And it made it very easy for for a lot of startups, a lot of small companies, a lot of them tech companies, to just hire people like me. And that's not the case anymore. That's just the reality of the industry. Yeah, the fear is like, if I don't get back into IT now / very soon, I'll never be able to do it again. Like, the IT experience on my resume is just going to be old and outdated That's why I see it as a either or thing. Like I can't really have the cake and eat it too. I just let go of the IT stuff and just spend my energy somewhere else. But it's so scary to do something else. It's literally fear. It's the safety of the paycheck is, I talked about growing up with that. And that was like my upbringing to like get a steady job with a large stable company, do your work, don't shake or rock the boat, and ride that till retirement. It's kind of what my parents taught me, what I grew up with. So yeah, and I feel like, you know what, like we can't drag this on that much more. It's been 2 years since I left the day job, and we haven't had super great income for those 2 years. Somehow I managed to, I was gonna say stay afloat, but like I've mentioned this once before and I'll just mention it again. Like I've got money, like the cash flow, the amount of money you got coming in for income versus how much money you're spending on your expenses, the cash flow, that doesn't look great, to be honest. But in terms of how much money I have that I own, not in terms of like the cash flow, I'm doing okay. I just really don't like it when I don't bring in more money, or at least enough money for all the necessities, which is also driving the move I have, which is like another thing I'm doing in 2025. So that's like another thing, an aspiration. So I'm preparing to move. I mentioned this a few weeks ago on the podcast that, yeah, I'm selling the condo. If you were to listen to that episode, I have my whole spreadsheet of all the episodes. It's episode 82 on December the 12th was that one where I said I was unliving the American dream. It's the title of that podcast. I like having this spreadsheet and being organized about all the podcasts that I'm doing. Anyways, it's too expensive. And I'm not ashamed to say, oh, I'm selling the condo because I can't really afford it. That's just the tea. I feel like, and I've been guilty of this too, when I was bringing in like good money. In a way, we kind of we don't explicitly frown upon poor people, but it's kind of sort of like, oh, the more money you have, the better, just bar none. And sometimes that could be construed as the more money you have, the happier you are. But have I been less happy than when I was making pretty decent money? I can't say that I was happier. It's different. Cash flow not being in a great situation does give me some stress. And I'm taking more dramatic action to right the ones that you can bring in more money, or you can lower your expenses. Or I'm trying to do both. I'm going to lower my expenses by getting rid of this condo. It's great to have money, obviously, but can say now that it doesn't necessarily make you happier. I think it can. I mean, I wish I was making more money than I was making right now, so I will say that. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say I'm selling the condo because I can't afford it. Okay, can I tell you something for real? Skincare is not really a sexy topic. No one's waking up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, I have to take care of my skin. I know I talk a lot on the podcast, I have a lot of opinions, and I have a lot of advice to give, but if you don't listen to me about anything, listen to me about this. You have to take care of yourself, and you also have to take care of your skin. I believe in it so much, and I think it's such a critical thing that I started my own skincare company, Serve Labs, to serve fun and functional skincare for everyone. And you know what? Not to toot my own horn, but people are always telling me, your skin looks so good, and I can't believe how old you are. Do you know why? Because I've been taking care of my skin for many, many years. But I know for a lot of you, skincare just sounds like another chore. But I want to make it fun. And that's where Serve Labs comes in. Go to servelabs.co, servelabs.co, or follow us at Serve Labs on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and discover how easy and fun it is to treat your skin right with Serve Labs. People don't want to say they don't have enough money. It's something that we are taught to be ashamed of, that we don't have a lot of money. But you don't need a lot of money to live happily. In terms of the actual numbers, it's trying your best to live within your means. But as Americans, Americans get into so much credit card debt, and it's such a consumerist economy, like it's such a consumption economy. It's, the American economy works on people buying things. And if everyone just bought the bare necessities, the economy would crumble. But yeah, part of the resolution, or part of the thing I'm doing for 25 is really reducing the expenses. Like, for example, right now, I'm spending so much money on housing. that everything else I spend money on really is like penny pinched to the max. Doing this move, doing this change, a big change, and selling your house and moving to somewhere else to cut your housing costs it's not like trying a different flavor of coffee at the cafe the next morning, a little more complicated than that. But that's another thing I'm doing. And hopefully by really slashing the housing costs at the same time, with the resolutions around the business and making more money that way, we'll be in a less pressured situation in terms of the cash flow. I can afford to start putting money towards retirement again, which will feel nice. I maybe can afford a little bit more of the luxuries that I've had to really give up. But I will say I did, over the years when I was making decent money, I did buy a lot of things I really didn't need, and none of those things made me happier. When I look at those things, like, I totally did not need to buy that. I just basically wasted money. So, but having this substantial drop in income the last couple of years has made me more aware of all the useless shit I was buying before. And hopefully I can take that as kind of a lesson, a little reminder for the rest of my life going forward, that whenever I want to buy some new shiny thing, it's like, well, you might want to think twice. But remember those 2 or 3 years when, you weren't really making that much money and you had to penny pinch. Before, when you were making decent money, you bought all these things. And it's like, well, do you wish that you had that money in the bank, or do you wish you had bought that thing? A lot of the times, a lot of the stuff that I bought when I was making more money, looking back at now, I was like, I wish I didn't buy the thing. I would have just like put that whatever money into my portfolio or my retirement account or into my savings and be like, I would have so much more money now, just invested it. I should just invested the money or save that money somehow. Yeah, and having really tried hard to not buy any of those things this last year. And I was like, you know what? Just watching free videos on YouTube on my couch on a Saturday night, I'm perfectly happy. Yeah, watching old episodes of Bake Off. I'm really getting into Bake Off, by the way. I love watching Bake Off now. Yeah, I don't have Netflix. I have Disney Plus only because my credit card gives it to me for free. But I'm not even watching Disney Plus. I've been trying to watch MCU because I don't really watch movies. So I've been kind of sort of watching MCU whenever I'm on a plane. I'm almost done watching all the MCU movies. I haven't watched one in a few months though. So the next time I'm on a long trip, I'll pick that up again. But yeah, I don't go to restaurants. I went to brunch with some friends recently because one of my credit cards gave me some sort of like use it or lose it by the end of the year, like dining credit. And that was the only reason. But yeah, I don't really, when I'm just home, I'm not traveling somewhere, like I don't eat out. I cook my 3 meals a day in the house. I go to the gym. I wish the gym was cheaper. So I'm living it kind of pretty clean, but it's also like, hey, I'm not making that much money. So it's like, you have to try your best to live within your means. So that will continue for 2025. But yeah, I don't have all the answers, like I said, but these are some of the things I feel like I need to just figure out now. Like I want the start of this year to be like, get some help for the skincare business. If you want to get back into IT, you just need to do it now. So go after that job hunt 100%, or like maybe you go after something else 100%. Like I still have the OnlyFans thing running as well. And it's like, well, that's not going to last forever. I really like this travel agent idea. So I just need to like make some decisions and like not be so wishy-washy on some of these things. So I'm kind of hoping the change of environment is going to help. I haven't told you where I'm moving because for me, it's not 100% yet. I have a short list of places I could be moving to. But like I mentioned on that podcast, I haven't told you yet. But I'm hoping with the change of scenery and also with like massively reducing my expenses, especially for the housing, that would just really take some stress off of the cash flow situation, free up some money to like put into the businesses. I don't know if you call those New Year's resolutions, but those are like my areas of focus. I don't even know what the technical. A resolution is just a goal. It's a goal, right? These are more like reckonings than some of these are goals, like tangible things. Like some of these is just like I just need to make a choice and decide what I want to do in my life. And I'm hoping that the change of scenery with the move, which I plan on doing like February, March, maybe April-ish pretty soon. Just depends on how quickly I can move on getting this house ready and getting it listed and seeing what kind of buyers are out there for this place. I'm hoping the change of scenery is gonna give me a bit of a kick in the ass and a bit of a sometimes a change of scenery can do you good. So yeah, I'm hoping along with that, I'll reckon with some of these decisions and we'll see how 2025 turns out. But I'm cautiously optimistic. What about you? What are some New Year's resolutions? Not even necessarily resolutions, but maybe some of the reckonings that you might have. I'll tell you about some of my reckonings that are top of my mind. What are some reckonings that you might have? You might not have all the answers. I certainly don't. You might have more questions than answers, like myself. But comment down in the YouTube comments below and tell me what's going on with your New Year's resolution / reckonings. And we will see you again next week on the podcast. Until next time. Bye, y'all.